Last class we were discussed about the HCM data loader. Let me unlock this. So we have not configured the notification, right? So I will explain the what we have done last class. So we have added the flag column equal to flag value equal to y. Okay. So while flag equal to y, it will wait for 1 minute. We'll wait for 1 minute and we'll get the status here. We'll get the status here. Okay. If the status is success, then we'll update the flag to n because we don't want to continue the loop here. Then we'll send the notification. So for example, if the HCM data loader still it is running, then what we will do, we are updating the flag to y. So because I want to continue the loop. Simple guys. Here the thing is why we are doing this all the transformation because we don't know right HCM data loader how much time it will take. So every time it will wait for 1 minute. So we'll get the status. If the status is not coming success and error, then the loop will be executed several times. If the status is success and error, then we're updating the flag to n. Then this condition will be fail. This will be fail. Understand or not?
Error case also same, right, Vamshi?
Error case also we don't want to continue the loop, right? Error will
Yes, that is also N. Flag is N, right?
Flag is n. Correct. Now we need to configure the notification. How to configure the notification? So first we will create the lookup. In that lookup, we will mention in that lookup we will mention the property name and value. So this is the from email ID, this is the OIC URL and to email ID. So what is the purpose of lookup, guys? I will tell you. Purpose of the lookup to maintain the data that can reuse in multiple integrations. To maintain the data that can be reused in multiple integrations. To maintain the data that can be reused in multiple integrations. That is called lookup. So what data you are going to maintain, guys? Let's say, for example, from email ID to email ID. For example, to email ID, we want to send to HCM super user. To email ID, we want to send to the HCM super user. Okay. So, for example, the HCM super user, maybe in the company he resigned. So what we need to change the HCM super user email ID. Then we will change in the lookup level. This lookup we are going to call in the integration. this name. So that is the purpose of lookup. And also one more purpose is there. So this email, I want to use not only single integration, I want to use the multiple integrations. So then what we will do, this lookup is the common for all the integration. That lookup we are going to call into multiple integrations. Understand or not? Mention the columns and data. You can create n number of columns. You can create a number of columns. And again, next, again, the columns. We can feed the data. This data can be reused for multiple requirements. This data can be reused for multiple requirements. Multiple requirements or multiple integrations, I can say. This data can be reused for multiple integrations. Okay. So now in our case also we are going to create the emails and OIC URL in the lookup that we can call here and here. How to do that one? For that first we'll create the lookup. And create HCM underscore HDA underscore any name. This name can be any name. Select so come to the integration instance, click on add. So mention the name of the lookup. Mention here. Great. So here I am going to mention the domain name. Property name. Property name. So this is the first column and this is the second column. So you can add a number of columns guys here. But for our requirement, we require only 2 columns. So property name, no reply from email. Property value. Click on plus OIC URL. To email ID like this. So in the real time, they will give the email address here, guys. You can feed the data here. From email address, they will give the data. So you can feed the data here. So this is the code and this is the data, guys. So that means in the real time, so whenever you are calling this code, internally this will call this. Internally this will call value data will be called. So both are data only, but this is normally in the real time we will consider this is the code and this is the data. Code and data value is the part of lookups. So that means when you are calling this property name, internally this will call the data. So that and all we have to configure in the notification. Notification we have to configure. Save this one.
Vamshi, is there any backend table for this?
Backend not there, but internally there is a one REST API will be there. So for every lookup behind that, one REST API will be there. So you can use the REST API to update the data, and if you want to delete anything, any data you can delete by using this REST API. Backend table not there, but only thing is, you know, right, in the standard table, for example, standard table, if you want to update and delete the data, what you will do, there is a standard REST APIs are there, right? Same way for this lookup, also we have standard REST APIs are there.
Okay.
Okay, so lookups created. Then let's go to the integration. Let's go to the integration. So we'll configure the notification here. We'll configure the notification. The notification. So if you look at the notification, to email ID. If it is to email ID, so what we will do, to email ID, we have configured the lookups, right? So search functions, search, drag and drop the lookup value here. Functions, search, drag and drop the lookup value. So select this one. So whatever the lookup I have created, so that lookup name you have to select here. Click on next. So source name is the property name. Target value is the property value. So this is the two email ID. Take this two email ID property name. Copy this name. Copy this name. Copy this name. Click on next. Next. Done. Here in the two email source value, then the source value, what you will do, you just like this, you can put like this. That means in the domain lookup value, this is the lookup name, is the lookup name we have created. So property name is the to email ID, property name is the to email. So this to email, whatever the value whatever the value behind that value it can be accessed here. Once again I'll tell you guys. So this is the lookup name, and in the lookup name, so whatever the to email ID against whatever the data is there, that data will be referred here. Exactly here, this Apple Star Technologies at the rate of gmail.com will be printed. So property name against whatever the value is there, that value will be printed here in the to email ID. Understand or not this logic? So when I attended one of the interview, they asked, so what are the parameters are there for the lookup value? You can say lookup name, property name, and property name data, and property value. Property value, whatever the to email ID, whatever the data is there, that data will be printed here in the property value.
So no need to mention the property value data here. It will directly take from
It will directly take that one. That column related data will be taken here. Understand, right? So CC, you don't need to mention here. Okay. CC you don't need to mention. And subject, You can mention like this, subject. HDL HDL successfully loaded. Okay, what do I mention? With the file name. So file name will print dynamic. Huh? File name will print dynamic. So where the file name will be there, guys? Tell me. I think read file response. Properties. File name. Got it or not? So what we are doing in the subject, HCDL successfully loaded with the file name. So that file name dynamically we are adding here. So for example, today file name is this name, but tomorrow different file names will be there, right? So that is the reason file name I am mentioning. If you want to mention the content ID also, you can mention here. Process ID also you can mention here. So based on the requirement, you can add the file names or property, file type or directory. So where whatever you want, you can add. Time also you can add. So this is the subject. I think from also we need to mention this. From also same, right? From also same, right? No. What value? Drag and drop the lookup value. Drag and drop the lookup value. I did not. So here property name, property value. So what you will do, take this name, take this name, click next, click next. Done. So here source value hidden like this.
In this from two also we need to mention as static only. We cannot mention as dynamic, right?
This is dynamic only, na?
Yeah.
This is dynamic only, right?
Means no, we are explicitly adding the non-reply from mail, no?
No, against
That
whatever the value is there, no, that will call here.
Okay,
no
okay.
reply from email ID, whatever this will not call. This no reply
Okay.
from email ID, whatever the value against property value there, that will be called here.
Okay.
Vamshi,
But
also in that,
This
Vamshi, in that
value
subject, the
button.
file name is not mandatory, right?
Subject, huh? You mention whatever the, just I'm adding here.
No,
But
it's not mandatory, right?
It is not mandatory. It is not mandatory. So you mention file name or content ID or whatever date also you want to mention, whichever you want. This is not mandatory. Just for our understanding, so whether file name is printing or not. So whichever you are reading the file from the SFTP location, that file name is printing or not here. For that purpose only, I mention file name here.
Without using functionals, you can write a subject, right? Just HDL loader simply straight away.
Yeah, that is also possible. That is also possible. Just for how you want to make the dynamic value, that is the reason I mentioned Simply you can mention HDL successfully loaded with the file name. Just a hard code.
Okay.
That is also possible.
With single quotes.
Single quotes we can do that.
Okay.
So in the body, so if you want to get the some kind of alignment, guys, if you want to get some kind of alignment border, something if you want to get, then we will use this HTML. For example, if you want to get any bold or anything, some kind of alignment, if you are not using this HTML, you will not get the proper alignment in the mail. So that is the reason. Use this email for the alignment. Use this email for the, use this content for the alignment. You can customize your HTML. For example, if you are not using HTML, you just directly use the format and alignment will not come properly. So that is the reason I'm using this one.
Lookups, it will support only REST API.
Copy this one. Copy this one. Here, what we will know here, dear user, HTML completed successfully. HTML successfully loaded. Yeah, HTML successfully loaded in HTML cloud. Here we will mention content ID. Here you mention the content ID. Here you mention the content ID. Content ID. Here I will mention security group name. This is the dynamic values, guys. This is the dynamic values. So I'll tell you. Security group name. Process. Process ID. Here, this curly braces, whatever it is there, na, this we will get the value dynamically. So this is the label in the email. So this is the label in the email. So this value we will get from dynamic. Security group. Security group name. Process side. Process ID. So this content ID, security group name, process ID are the parameters. So this we will get the dynamic values. These are the labels in the email. Understand it? So this OIC URL will get from the lookup. So this OIC URL will get from the lookup. So that is what we need to do. So whatever the curly braces it is there, this is called parameters. So these parameters we need to define in the parameter section here. Here parameter section is there, no? In the parameter section we can define. And this value, whatever the parameter value against data, that will be print in the parameter section here. Understand or not? So now what I will do, let me copy this one. Not getting or getting, guys, this one parameters. I will define. You'll understand. Okay. So now if I save this one, it will show the error. Why it will show the error? Because why it will show the error? Because whatever the parameters we passed in the this HTML, this we need to define here. This we need to define. Then only it will not give any error. Once again, I will tell you guys. So whatever the parameters you have defined, right? So content ID and process ID along with the security group name. So these names we need to bring in the parameter section. then only error will. So for example, if you save this one, save, still it will show the error here. I will tell you why it is showing error. If I put the cursor here, it is showing email bodies content. So you see the error last line. Email body contains references to invalid parameters. Did you observe? Hello. So
Yes.
whatever the parameters you have defined in the curly braces, this we need to define in the notification section. So let me do this one. Click on plus. Copy this content ID. Content ID. Parameter name, content ID, and parameter value. So content ID where you will get, guys? Anyone have idea? Content ID where you will get? Process ID there. Huh? Oh. Tarada? Content ID where you will get?
This is the UCM content ID, right?
Yeah. Content ID. Content ID will get from this one. Content ID will get from here. So this parameter name and this curly braces name should be matched. And in the email, the data of the content ID will be print here in the email. Content ID, label name, and data will be printed. So this data will come from where? The import sources, input sources. Got it or not? Now click on plus. What is the next? What is the next parameter name? What is the next parameter name? Security group name. Security group name. Where the security group name will be there now? Security group name.
In import, it will be there, I think. So. Import.
Somewhere I have seen here. Security group name. Okay. Data set name in there, content ID in there. Here I think you will see process ID will be there. Somewhere I have seen. Okay, guys, we'll change this security group name not there.
There is a search icon, right, Vamshi? Can't you search there, like group
Yeah, it is
percentage?
there. Yeah, you can do that also. Security. Security not there. Security group name not there. So leave it this one. We will take the instead of security group name, we will take percentage complete.
Otherwise, we can proceed with the other two parameters also, right?
Other two parameters also you can proceed, but you need to remove here.
Yeah.
What we will do? We will do only these two parameters, guys. Okay, percentage. Okay. Remove the security, otherwise security group name will change, right? Percentage complete. Percentage complete. So parameter value. I think we need to
So
take the
actually, there are 2% completes. Which one we have to take?
load you can take. Last one load, right? There are two options
Yes,
are
yes.
very important. Load we can take. Load is the final, right? Okay. So this is only for staging table, no? This percentage complete only for staging table. Hmm? Okay, right? And last one is what? Last one is what, guys?
Process.
Process ID. Process ID. Process. Okay. Now one more is there. What is the one more? Hmm? Hello. URL. Parameter name URL. So URL where will come? Lookup value. Property name should be this one. Property value. Property name and property name. Note, save the changes. No error will not come this time. See? No. No, there is no error. So at this moment, any questions you can ask me, guys. Same thing.
Lookups only REST API.
All the lookups belong behind that REST APIs are there. Correct.
Okay, it will only support lookup REST API.
Yes. It will support lookup related data will be supported in the REST APIs.
Okay.
What we will do, let's see, we'll copy paste in work or not. In the old Gen 2, we were used to copy paste. Will it work or not? This is the root. In the Gen 2 instance, we used to copy paste. This is the problem.
That entire notification can't we copy and paste, Vamshi? That
Yeah.
entire box notification.
Cut it there. Copy not there, no?
Hmm.
They should have given, right? Copy paste.
Yeah.
In the even I feel that copy paste should be there for this notification. It will be easy, right, for developers. From right from I copied already. Okay. This is 2. No? This is from. In older release we were used to copy paste, but I don't know whether it will work or not. Let's try this one. Change. Here, HCM data order. Error. Error. Okay. Parameter name. This way you can do notepad now. You can easily do that. Percentage complete. Content only. Parameter. Content only.